What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the next adventure. Today we're coming to you from my hometown, Hyde Park, New York. We're here at the FDR Presidential Library, Museum, and Home. Just got 2 tickets. Jenna's back here with me. She don't want to be on camera today. You want to be on camera? She's here anyway. She's really not here. She's just acting like she's not here. All right. So we're gonna go and check out the museum. We're not gonna check out the home today. I got this cool membership. I get it every year. I sign up for it. I don't know if you guys have any presidential libraries by you guys, but they have this cool little membership. It's like $60 maybe a year, and you can go in any presidential library anywhere in the country for free after paying for that membership. So it's pretty cool. So I've used it quite a few times to come here to the FDR Library in Hyde Park. I've been to the JFK Library twice. I've been to Bill Clinton's library in Arkansas, and I've been to George Washington's home in Mount Vernon. So let's go inside where it's a little warmer and check out the FDR Library here in Hyde Park, New York. So we're gonna start out. They got this temporary exhibits here right now. It's images of the internship. I never say that right. I'm very bad at pronouncing things, but when we went to World War II, we had all the Japanese, and we got scared, and we took all those Japanese and we put them in camps. So there's a special exhibit going on right now, so we're gonna bring you in there. Images of internment. Probably one of the worst things that this country did. It's absolutely terrible. I mean, you know, going to war, you know, with any country, but then going against, you know, the Japanese, they come in, the Pearl Harbor happens. And then, you know, we're scared here in this country. I couldn't imagine what it was like during that time, but we're scared, we're frightened. So we take all the Japanese, we round them up, and we put them in these camps because we're scared. It's kind of crazy. Imagine this. Look at this. June 30th, 1942. Evacuation areas were set up in the United States, right, for the Japanese intern camps. Basically, the whole entire West Coast. It's basically all of California. They set up 10 camps, and it looks like the furthest camp went all the way up into, looks like Arkansas, right on the border of Arkansas and Mississippi. And the Japanese had to report to these camps. Imagine one day coming out and seeing this. Instructions to all Japanese ancestry. And this is all you were allowed to bring. Bedding, linens, toilet articles, toiletries, extra clothing for each member of the family, sufficient knives, forks, spoons, plates, bowls, cups for each member of the family, and then essential personal effects for each member of the family. They weren't allowed to bring their pets. They weren't allowed to bring their heavy furniture. They weren't allowed to bring something if they had like a piano or something like that. They left everything behind. It's insane to think that this country at one time thought like that, to do something like that. And they didn't do this through the whole country. It seemed like they just did this on the West Coast. They have a little movie playing in here. They have a couple movies throughout the Presidential Library here where you can sit down and watch them. So I'm gonna see if I can throw in a clip from that movie here, and we'll just pick up from wherever it is.
And the first thing that I had observed was that they had armament, not facing out, but facing in.
And I remember seeing the guard tower and the barbed wire fence, and this blew my mind to think that we were going to be behind those wires.
They are not prisoners, they are not internees. They are merely dislocated people, the unwounded casualties of war.
Looks like by the time of the evacuation, a total of 170 people of Japanese descent died. So those gravestones are probably still right there. And this is what the barracks looked like back in 1945 when they were left. I wonder what's there now, if there's anything there. The cemetery must still be there. If I ever make it out to Colorado, I'm gonna have to go check that out. Look at this comic strip that was put out by the Philadelphia Inquirer. This is kind of crazy. Quick ways to spot a Jap. This one here is this pronunciation thing. I guess Japanese have a problem with the letter S. We're on our way out of the internment camp section. This is a temporary exhibit, so if you guys are gonna come, this may or may not be here the next time you come. We're gonna actually go check out the library now. All right, we're gonna start out right here.
He cuts taxes and asks Americans to give to charity.
Looks like all the election stuff. Look at that right there. There's FDR's famous campaign cap that he used to wear. I got a bunch of cool stuff in this case here. I'm gonna show you guys one of my favorite things here in this library that I had learned. You know, I've been coming to this library since, it's gotta be like 25 years ago. And the library's changed quite a bit since I've been coming. And they've added things, taken away things, of course, like any place has. And one of the things they added was this that I didn't know, was why FDR was actually on the campaign trail. He almost was assassinated. That's the bullet from the would-be assassin. There's the scene right there. Didn't get him. This guy right here, Italian immigrant, right there in Dade County, Florida. Instead, it wounded Mayor Anton Cermak of Chicago. I think he died too. Yeah, so this photo right here, this blurred photo, was taken just a moment right before the gunshots. Right before the gunshots, that picture was taken. And then the mayor right there, Mayor Anton Cermak of Chicago, actually was assassinated instead of FDR. Things could have changed quite a bit because FDR was the only president to serve 4 terms, so he served 4 terms. Can you imagine that? There could have been 4 other presidents instead of FDR if he was assassinated that day. Wow, look at the electoral votes over here. This is crazy. This is the November 1932 election results against Herbert Hoover, right? FDR. Electoral votes, 472. You ready for Hoover's? 59. Wow, total control. Popular vote, 22 million, almost 23 million, versus 15 million, almost 16 million. That's insane. 472 to 59. Look at the map. The whole map's blue, except for that small area right there. Well, you got New York. You got his own state. I don't think he ever carried his own county, though. And this is one interesting fact you guys may or may not know, is back in the day, they used to dress up little boys in dresses and have long hair that looked just like girls. So that photograph right there, that's actually FDR back in 1885 riding a donkey. Thank God they don't do that anymore. This is a pretty cool artifact right here. Sarah Eleanor Roosevelt townhouse sketch in 1905. At Christmas 1905, Franklin's mother gave him the newlyweds a sketch of a double townhouse that was planned to be built in New York City. Cool thing about that townhouse, now it's a part of Hunter College in New York City, so you can actually go there and visit that townhouse. It's pretty neat. So I think most people know this. FDR, actually, this was hidden, the press hid this and everything, actually had polio. So these were actually his leg braces right here. And he's the only president that we know of that had a disability. So that we know of. You never know. Somebody else might have had one. He's the only one we know of. But the press kept this a secret. Nobody ever knew about it while he was president. Imagine having polio, no cure, going from one day being very athletic to the next day barely being able to stand and walk. In less than a week, he couldn't walk at all. It's incredible. It's probably one of my favorite programs right here, the WPA, the Work Progress Administration. We didn't have any money to get into the FDR's home, so they told us we could wash dishes here, and just gonna wash some dishes so we can go ahead and go in the house.
Most of whom recognize the past evils in the banking system. Evils in the sale of securities. Evils in the deliberate encouragement of stock gambling. Evils in the sale of unsound mortgages. Evils in many other ways in which the public lost literally billions of dollars.
They used to call these the fireside chats. That's how people got their information back in the 40s, late 30s and 40s. Listen to right there in the kitchen, right to the radio, and listen to FDR. The Work Progress Administration, WPA back there, was one of the things that I love the most about FDR, especially in this area. We got a lot of things here. We got a lot of new schools, things like that. Actually, two of the schools I went to, both my junior high school and my high school, the post office I go to, were all built because of the WPA. Look at this here, back to the polio thing. There's over 130,000 photographs here at the FDR Library collection, and there's only 4 of Roosevelt in a wheelchair. That's pretty crazy.
You think the press operated?
The press had a lot more respect for the president back then. We're now into the 1936 election up here, okay? And look at the electoral votes on this one. Look at this. The whole country is blue, basically. What is that, Vermont and Maine, I think? 523 electoral votes compared to 8 electoral votes. I never even heard of this guy, Alfred Landon. I never even heard of that guy running for president. That's probably why. That's crazy. 8 electoral votes to 523. FDR carried 60.8% of the country. Over here, they're talking about FDR in a 3rd term. First president and only president to serve not only a 3rd term, but also a 4th term, which unfortunately he passed away during his 4th term. I think it was due to a brain hemorrhage. This is FDR's private study, which he used all the way up till March 28th of 1945. And it was left mainly exactly the way he left it. And there's FDR right there. See that lamp right there in the painting with the battleship in the background? There it is right there. There's the painting of the battleship. Same lamp. And he's even got his wheelchair here, including an ashtray on the side. Pretty cool room. It's all set up for Christmas, being that it's the end of November here. So they got an extra little piece in here. They got a little bit Christmas tree, a little bitty Christmas tree covered in tinsel. I love this over here. I've heard this speech before. Oh, it wasn't working before. Now the sound's working. FDR actually dedicating his own presidential library. This is pretty cool.
Mementos of the Franklin D. Roosevelt era is dedicated to the nation by the president himself. And this latest addition to the archives of America is dedicated at a moment where government of the people by themselves is being attacked everywhere. It is therefore proof, if any proof is needed, that our confidence in the future of democracy has not diminished in this nation and will not diminish. Costing about $1/3 million, the Dutch colonial building erected on land donated by the president is really a Roosevelt museum, filled with the historical material of Roosevelt's public life, as well as many of his cherished keepsakes. His ship models, a rare collection. Most interesting are the many curios sent to him from admirers the world over. A new shrine for America.
And in that newsreel, we saw the Great Sphinx, FDR's Great Sphinx. There it is, right there. It reminds me of a miniature golf course. I have this awesome idea. If anyone's got the money, we should do a Hudson Valley miniature golf course. If you ever seen the movie Overboard, at the end of it, they do the miniature golf course. We get something that looks like that. Train bridge, a couple other landmarks. It'd be cool. I'm just saying, if anyone's got the money, you guys should go do it. I'm giving you the idea. Just give me a little royalties behind it. There we are, 1940 election. See if FDR can keep that campaign going. Oh man, looks like he lost a little bit here. Looks like a little bit was lost. Still not getting that Vermont and Maine vote, but look at all these other states. What happened? Still won. 449 electoral votes to 82.
Now Great Britain and France, having vowed to defend Poland, have no choice but to declare...
That's the 1940 election.
To win it. On the island of Oahu at Pearl Harbor, the Japanese catch the U.S. fleet off guard and shock America.
Just a piece of the USS Arizona. Look at this thing. I don't know what piece of the ship it is. It doesn't really mention it. Maybe a piece of the side of the ship. Previously, when I visited the library, they just had this small little piece here, and it's about the size of my hand. That piece over there is gigantic. That's bigger than I am. So pretty cool. Added a new piece to the library. So it's cool that they're still adding things even after all these years. Pretty neat to see. Look who it is. It's the president's dog, Fowler. Jenna, what kind of dog is Fowler? Let's see if she knows.
Looks like a terrier, Scottish terrier.
Scottish Terrier. I think that's correct. And here's all Fowler's stuff. It's his dog collar and his bowl. And look, it used to even get fan mail. Fowler's grave is actually right next to FDR's in the Rose Garden. What a lot of people don't know, there's actually another dog buried in that garden that less people know about. That dog's name was Chief, and that was a German Shepherd. Welcome to the Germ shopping network. Looks like we got our first call. Hello? No, I don't want to subscribe to Sports Illustrated. Swimsuit issue? Free football phone? Yeah, give me a 2-year subscription. Okay, so that wasn't an order for the Germ shopping network, but I do now have a free football phone, so that's awesome. You guys remember these? Let's call Dave Hughes. Let's give him a call.
But I leave it wholly to your discretion as to where she should go. In other words, the war comes first. I think that Mrs.
Okay, this might take a while, guys.
Places where we have military or naval personnel will help the general morale. You have been doing a grand job, and we are all proud of you.
Come on, guys, I wouldn't give out Dave Hughes' phone number like that. It's not right. Not cool. Don't do that. Here's FDR's final election, and look at this. More red. More red here. Still 432 electoral votes versus 99. That definitely climbed quite a bit. That 99 versus 432. Still won though. Unfortunately, this is the term where he dies. He doesn't make it much through his term. There it is, April 12th, 1945. I have this paper in my house. The president's dead. Didn't die here in Hyde Park though. He died in Warm Springs, Georgia, in his Warm Springs, Georgia home. I always wanted to check that place out. They always called that the Little White House. I always wanted to go check that out. I know Adam the Woo has a video of that. I'd love to see it. And they saved so much stuff there, down to the toilet paper that was actually on the wall at the time he died. It's still there. It's kind of crazy. So I'd love to go there at one point. This up here is actually FDR's Oval Office desk. When I first started coming here, this used to be actually upstairs right when you came in. And I do miss it being there. It's cool that you can now walk around it, which you used to not be able to do. So it is kind of cool that you get this close to it and see what's on it and what kind of stuff he had. But it just had a much better setup before. It looked so much cooler. They had it looked like the Oval Office. Oh man, look at that. Someone broke off the ear off this donkey. Wonder if anyone knows about that. They have this cool interactive display here, so you can actually touch the ceramic donkey. And I was hoping you could move it around. It looks like the ear was already broken off, so not something that looks like it was done here at the museum, unless somebody really got a good cover up on that. What the heck is that thing? Oh, it's a Uncle Sam's glass hat. Well, our visit here to the FDR Library is about to come to the end. We're now at the Eleanor Roosevelt wing of the library. First lady of the world. And look at this, she was kind of like a YouTuber back in the day, before we had YouTube. And they did all the press in the newspapers. That was her personal typewriter. This is an amazing woman right here. It's a famous photograph of Eleanor Roosevelt right here, walking the streets of New York City with her suitcase. And there's that suitcase right there. I noticed this. I never noticed this before. They actually have the contents of Eleanor Roosevelt's wallet. She had some pretty cool things in here. She had a Diners Club card. I guess that was like a credit card. I heard of these. I don't know when they stopped doing them, but those are Diner credit cards. The Sheraton Hotel, she had like a little guest card there. And back in the day, they used to put Mrs. Franklin D. Roosevelt. That's how they used to tell her who she was, Mrs. Franklin D. Roosevelt. She was a member of the Theodore Roosevelt Association, which was, I think, what was that, her uncle, great uncle, something like that, Theodore Roosevelt. And they even had her driver's license in here, and her driver's license renewal. It's kind of cool. One of my favorite things I found last couple of years was that Eleanor was actually on a TV show, and I can't remember the name of the TV show, and I don't know if it's going to play here because it just keeps looping through, but she was actually on a television show. It was a game show, and they basically had to guess who it was. They didn't allow Eleanor to talk because they knew right away everybody would recognize her voice, but they would guess by asking questions, and eventually they guessed who it was and where she was from, and you know, being a part of the United Nations, and that she was from Hyde Park, New York, and it's pretty cool to see. This place is awesome. This is actually FDR's Car. I remember seeing this as a kid. It was, I think it was just about in the same spot, but the glass wasn't around it back in the day. But check this thing out, it's pretty awesome. Look at all the scratches on the fender and all the dings and the dents. And it was pretty cool. FDR actually used to drive this car. This had to be one of the first cars with hand controls. Look at this thing. It's got hand controls there so he could operate it, because he couldn't use his legs, so he had to be able to drive. That's how they did it. But still here with the convertible top down. Pretty neat to see. It's quite the painting collection too. I have a video coming up soon. I don't know if I'll put it up before this one or after this one, but that walkway right there, that actually bridge right there, that railroad bridge, which is the only thing he ever knew it as, because it was still in operation when he passed away, and also when Eleanor Roosevelt passed away. But that actually is now a walkway over the Hudson, so it's kind of cool to see that there, with the ferry boat or steamboat going underneath it. Look at this here, the presidential personal files. That's his personal files. Who knows what's in there? Probably lots of secret documents about Dave Hughes. All right, that's it here from the FDR Presidential Library. We're going to do one more thing before we leave. We're going to pay our respects to the man himself. We're going to walk over his grave before we walk out. But I want to thank everybody now for watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry if I got some of my facts wrong. Thanks for watching the Germ. Please like, share, subscribe, spread the germs all over the place, and don't wash your hands. Thanks for watching. It's so cold that we're freezing over here. They got a piece of the Berlin Wall over here. I forgot about this. They actually didn't cover it up yet. Usually they cover this up in the wintertime, so I'm actually surprised it's not covered at this point, but right there, it's a piece of the Berlin Wall right there. Kind of cool to see, kind of cool to have that here at the FDR Library. It's so far from where it began, right? We're gonna go into the rose garden where FDR's grave is. It's not really a rose garden here in November, but it's where the rose garden is in the summertime. A lot of sun glare over here, but there's FDR's home in the foreground there. And here's actually FDR's funeral right here. It's the day of his funeral. A lot of presidents came to his funeral. I don't know if the picture's over here. And there you go. There's Eleanor Roosevelt and Winston Churchill. And that was right in here. And of course, the one with the flag is FDR's grave. Other one is Eleanor's. The marble stone thing out there in the field, that is Fowler's, and you can't see it, but there's a flat stone that is Chief's, the German Shepherd.